Asian, American, or African, ethnic or cultural background. We differ from nationality, maybe. Good afternoon, everyone, especially to our advisor, Dr. Jaihalin Tumog. Sir, good afternoon. This afternoon, I am going to report to you about student diversity, individual differences factors, benefits of diversity in the classroom, and classroom strategies for student diversity. Do you agree that no two students are the same? Or do you believe that learners do not come from the same mold? Diversity or differences among our students have placed greater demands to teachers in today's schools. Students may differ in race, which is commonly indicated by the color of the skin. They maybe belong to different ethnic or religious groups and speak different languages. In most public schools, students come from a wide range of socio-economic backgrounds. Increasing number of children come from families that are plagued by poverty, unemployment, frequent relocations, limited access to high medical and social services, and perhaps crime-ridden neighborhoods. Individual differences. So I have here a list of individual differences factors. So we have gender, we have example, male or female. Racial, we have Asian, American, or African. Ethnic or cultural background, we differ from nationality maybe. The province that you came from, or the language you speak. This diversity also comes from other factors like the following. Socioeconomic status. The millionaire's lifestyle differs from that of middle income or lower income group. Socioeconomic status is the social standing or class of an individual or group, or it is often sometimes a combination of education, income, wealth, and occupation. Number 2 is thinking learning styles. Some of you learn better from seeing something, others by just listening, and still others by manipulating something. As we have learned from our other subjects, we have learned about the learning styles of an individual. So we have 5 stimuli that affect the learning style of an individual. We have the environment. For example, you can study in a cool, quiet room and others cannot. We have the emotional, motivation, persistence, responsibility, and structure. We have also the sociological. You can study alone or with peers or with colleagues. And we have also the physiological. You can study while eating or not eating, or you are using your perceptual modalities like auditory, visual, tactile, and kinesthetic. The last one is psychological, corresponds to the types of psychological processing in our body. Number 3 for individual differences is the exceptionalities. In class, there may be one who has difficulty in spoken language comprehension, or in seeing, hearing, etc. In K-12 schooling, exceptionalities refers to both disabilities and giftedness. For example, if the student is having an autism, deaf, or blind. So we have here 5 factors of exceptionalities. We have number 1, behavior. Number 2 is communication. For example, if the student or a person is having a hard time hearing, he has language impairment and learning disabilities. Number 3 is intellectual. It's either the student is gifted or he's having a mild intellectual disability or development disability. Number 4 is physical. Refers to the physical features of a student. For example, if the student is blind or having a low vision. And number 5 is multiple exceptionalities. For example, if the student cannot speak, at the same time cannot talk. So those are the factors of exceptionalities: behavior, communication, intellectual, physical, and multiple exceptionalities. To recap, the person differs from others are: we have gender, racial, ethnic or cultural background. We have also the socio-economic status of a person, the learning style of the students, and number three is the exceptionalities. Second benefits of diversity in the classroom is we have student diversity contributes to cognitive development. The opportunity to gain access to the perspective of peers and to learn from other students rather than the instructor only may be especially important for promoting the cognitive development of the learners. According to William J. Brennan, the classroom is peculiarly the marketplace of ideas. The depth and breadth of student learning are enhanced by exposure to others from diverse backgrounds. Student diversity in the classroom brings about different points of view and varied approaches to the learning process. So student diversity as a responsible member of society. Learning about other culture help us understand different perspectives within the world in which we live. It helps dispel negative stereotypes and personal biases about different groups. In addition, cultural diversity help us recognize. We are now on classroom strategies for student diversity. First in the list is encourage learners to share their personal history and experiences. Students will be made realize that they have something in common with the rest. They also differ in several ways. For example, our Muslim brothers and sisters, they pray 5 times a day. And the non-Muslims, they pray maybe once or twice a day. So the Muslim and the non-Muslim, same, they pray, but it differs only in a ways or how many times they pray in a day. Number two is integrate learning experiences and activities which promote student multicultural and cross-cultural awareness. You can encourage or even initiate co-curricular experiences that are aimed at promoting diversity awareness. For example, Linggo ng Wika, Indigenous Peoples Week. Next is let students interview other students on campus who are from diverse background. For example, the Subanin group can interview his classmates, which is an Ilonggo, and vice versa. Next is invite students to internet discussion group or email. Have students visit foreign countries and talk to natives of those countries. So if you were given a chance to travel around the world, you can talk to different nationalities or different backgrounds, and you can jot down everything that you wanted to learn. Then next is invite students if they have ever been the personal target or prejudice or discrimination, and have them share these experiences with other members of the class. I just want to share a personal experience when I had my on-the-job training at the Department of Foreign Affairs. I had this colleague, a female colleague, she's a Muslim, and then we decided to go to the mall after our duty. Surprisingly, the guard stopped her at the entrance of the mall, asking that she's not allowed to enter because her body was fully covered with black cloth. And it's very normal for Muslim women to wear that one. So we asked why. And then he said that it's the protocol of the mall that he should be seen by the guards or one of the guards. So we decided to request a female guard to check on her. And then after a long discussions and communications with the supervisors, everything went well. So the problem here is if the person or groups of person, they don't have any knowledge about about the background, so the problem will arise anytime. So it's very important that we need to know the background. At least we know about the background of cultures or ethnic groups in our country. So we can stop future problems like this that I have experienced. Next of the classroom strategies we have is, aside from highlighting diversity, identity patterns of unity that transcend group differences. So according to Clyde Cloughan, an American anthropologist, every human is, at the same time, like all other humans, like some humans and like no other humans. So in this quote, Clyde wants to emphasize that no matter what, or it doesn't matter where you came from, it's either you're from Europe, America, or Asia, all of us are same, all of us are humans. Next is communicate high expectations to students from all subgroups. Make a conscious attempt call on or draw in students from diverse groups using effective questioning techniques that reliably elicit student involvement. Other strategies for drawing in and involving students include letter A, assigning them the role of reporter in small groups discussions. So you can give an assignment to your students to study a specific background, and then they can have that one reported orally in the classroom. Next is having them engage in pair discussion with other classmates with a stipulation that each partner must take turns assuming the role of both listener and speaker. So for example, students from Pagadian and students coming from Buog, students from Pagadian can share about what Pagadian is all about, and students from Buog can share about Buog, the backgrounds of Buog, at what kind of peoples they have in Buog. Next is scheduling instructor-student conferences with them outside the classroom. So if you want to hold a symposium enlightening diversity, then you can have that one as well. Then learn the names of your students, especially the foreign names that you may have difficulty pronouncing. This will enable you to establish early personal rapport with them, which can later serve as a social, emotional foundation or springboard for encouraging them to participate. So if you have a student having a very long or having a hard time pronouncing the names, you can actually give him a nickname if it is okay with her or him. Next strategies is use varied instructional methods to accommodate student diversity in learning styles. Diversify the sensory perceptual modalities through which you can deliver and present information. Example, orally, in print, diagrammatic and pictorial representation, or hands-on experience. So there are four main modalities that educators often consider. We have the kinesthetic, refers to the movement; visual refers to the sight; auditory refers to the hearing; and tactile refers to touching. Next is diversify the instructional formats or procedure you use in class. Use formats that are student-centered, for example, class discussion or small group work, and teacher-centered, example, lectures or demonstrations. Next is use formats that are unstructured, example, trial and error, discovery learning, and structured, example, step-by-step instruction. The next one is use procedures that involve both independent learning, example, independently completed projects or individual presentations. What I'm doing right now is an example of individual presentations. Next, interdependent learning, example, collaborative learning in pairs or small groups. Next, for the strategies for diverse classroom is we have vary the examples you use to illustrate concept in order to provide multiple contexts that are relevant to students from diverse background. So have students complete personal information cards during the first week of class and use of his information to select examples that are relevant to their personal interests and life experiences. For example, by looking at the index card they provided to you, you were able to see all the information about your student. Next one is use ideas, comments, and questions that students raise in class. So for example, if there are questions that are not clear to the student, they can address that one to the whole class. Or you can use their ideas, and you can, if the ideas is not complete, or the ideas is need to expound, then it's the job also for the teacher and for the for the classmates. Next is have students apply concept by placing them in a situation or context that is relevant to their lives. The next strategy is adapt the students' diverse backgrounds and learning styles by allowing them personal choice and decision-making opportunities concerning what they will learn and how they will learn it. So A, we have promotes positive students' attitude towards subject matter. We have also foster more positive interaction among students, result in student working more consistently with lesser teacher intervention, and then those are one of example of adapting the students for diverse backgrounds, the learning style of the students, because it will promote positive student attitudes towards subject matter, foster more positive interaction among students, and result in student working more consistently with lesser teacher intervention. Next is we have diversify your methods of assessing and evaluating student learning. So we have individually delivered oral reports, panel presentations, group projects, visual presentations, dramatic vignettes presented live or videotape. So by doing this, you will know the strength and the weaknesses of your student. Next is lastly, we have purposely form small discussion groups of students from diverse backgrounds. You can form groups of students with different learning styles, different cultural backgrounds, and etc. So by doing this, the instructor is removed from center stage, thereby reducing the likelihood that the teacher is perceived as the ultimate or absolute authority. The next one is students are exposed to the perspective of other students, thus increasing their appreciation of multiple viewpoints and different approaches of learning. So that's all about my report, and thank you.